8% Nation. We have 13-time NFL Pro Bowl athlete, New York Times best-selling author, multiple Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP, a 2018 inductee into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, father, speaker, businessman, and community activist, Mr. Ray Lewis!
You guys trying to get me to go back to play football again? Anytime I hear that song does something to me. You know what's funny? I know I'm in Tennessee, but I've been in Tennessee many times in this stadium. No, I'm not gonna start nothing. That was only business. This is a different type of business now. No, I tell you what happened through that rivalry though of Baltimore, Tennessee. I have a brother probably for life when you speak about Eddie George. Me and him are doing some stuff now, and every time we get with each other, we realize that, wow, that we're cut from the same cloth. But we kind of knew that in 1995. We just didn't have the same colors on at the time. And so now, coming all the way back, we just left each other in New York. And sooner or later, we're gonna start a podcast together and do some things together. So some really strategic things. So thank you guys for having me here today. It's really awesome. I got up super early this morning around, 6:30? I wanted to make my flight, and I get to the airport, and they say, yeah, we're about 2.5 hours delayed. So after I drove from Boca to get to Miami, I realized that God always has a plan. And most of the times that if he slows you down because he wants you to think about some things. And so I had a lot of things to think about on my way here. And I want you to dive in with me for a minute, right? Because what's the true responsibility of leadership? What does that look like? The real responsibility of leadership. So there's three tiers that we're gonna tap into. One of the greatest qualities that I truly believe leadership is all about is you must be selfless. Right now, selfless it's a couple of the, things that you can make fit inside of it too, because you have to be it's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about we. How do we make this happen, right? And something happened to me early in life that made me transition into thinking as an altruistic person. I wanted to figure out, I said, what's this thing? Like, Mom, I'm trying to figure out at 10 years old. I'm like, Mom, why my father ain't around? Like, what's going on? Then Mama grabbed me one day and she says to me, she says, baby, listen, I don't have time for you to be a child. I need you to be a young man right now. My mom sat me down, I'll never forget it. She taught me how to cook, clean, braid, fold, plait, iron, wash, scrub. And I'm like, Mom, why are you teaching me all this? She said, because I need you to help me take care of your brothers and sisters. So when I started to understand that, I said, well, Mom, can I go outside and play? And then she looked at me and she said, look, don't ever leave my house. I'm like, okay, wow. What kid comes home and can't leave the house? So then I started to become a very selfless person because the only thing that mattered to me at that point in time was my brothers and sisters, was figuring out a way. My mom worked 3 jobs. My mom was never home. My mom made it to 1985, my first football game ever, and she never made it to another one my entire career. So I became this person. I became this power that said, okay, Mama can't do it. Daddy ain't here, so it's up to me. So as a leader, very early, did I understand it then? Absolutely not. But did I understand what Mama said? Mama said, I need you not to be a kid, but to understand the roles of a young man, right? It's part of what's missing in our times, in today's time, right? Our kids nowadays don't know what ironing their own clothes mean, making their own bed up every day. You know, but I tell you what, you put a phone in their hand, they can do any damn thing you want them to do. They'll run you through your own phone. They'll unlock your code for you and everything. But if you ask them to do things that will survive forever, a lot of them are lacking that quality. I got 4 kings, 2 queens. 4 of them in Division I college. I got 2 more left. And child, trust me, I'm waiting for them to get out of my house. But it's what happened along the way, right? That we forgot about why you must become selfless. Because that word comes back later on in my life. Because my mother was okay with installing that into me. You understand? The second thing that when you think about selfless leaders, what is a leader? A leader must be selfish. See, selfless is about the group. Selfish is about yourself. I made a selfish plea early in my life. A young man walked up to me, he had 5 pieces of crack cocaine in his hand. He said, "This is the way out." I said, "You done lost your damn mind. My mama's hand's too heavy, and she likes hitting you in the face and anywhere she can hit you at." I can't go home to that. I can't even take that risk. But what happened was, I started to become selfish. Why did I become selfish? Because I saw my mother walking into a bedroom. My mother's a very high yellow woman. Walk into a bedroom, and her eyes are bleeding daily, weekly. And I started to ask my mom what was going on in that room that I didn't know about. Then when I was educated, I found out my mom was being beaten daily, day in and day out. I used to just hold my mom in her arms as she would bleed. And then I became selfish to feeling what pain really felt like. And I asked my mom one day, I said, "Mom, do me a favor." I said, "I need a deck of cards." She said, "Junior, I don't gamble in my house." I said, "Ma, I ain't getting these cards for gambling." I was a skinny kid, 130, 140-pound kid. Couldn't figure it out. Daddy ain't around. Trying to figure out why my mom is by herself. Then I started to figure out why men would just hit my mom just because. Then I asked her one day, I said, "Mom, why do you do this?" She said, "I do anything for my kids." And still to this day, people ask me all the time, "Who's your hero?" My mama. Because I watched her do something. I didn't watch it from a television. I watched it from sitting in that house every day, 9 times out of 10, never having a meal to eat. That was the sacrifice of selflessness I made. That my mom couldn't feed the whole family. So she used to tell me, "Can you make it tonight?" I said, "Mama, I'll make it. I don't have to eat. I will make it." But then I became selfish. And one day she walked in the house and she took a deck of cards and she threw them in my hand. It was one of the last altercations we had with my stepfather. It didn't end well. And then I took these deck of cards and I shuffled them. And I took them. I was so mad about what he had done to me and my mom. And I just threw them on the ground. Pop. Cards just fell everywhere. I took a 6 and I was crying so much, I just started doing 6 push-ups. Jack, Queen, King, I did 10. Ace, I did 25. Joke, I did 50. And then I became selfish. But I want to give you all a message. I became selfish to pain. I told pain I'm dating somebody else. It's called joy. I told pain I got a different way to deal with you. Most people run from you. I'm going to run in the same direction you coming from. And so I took that pain. And after these sit-ups, and I started counting them, and I shuffled them again and did push-ups and sit-ups and push-ups and sit-ups. And at one time, In my life, man, I was doing almost 2,500 push-ups and sit-ups a night because I wanted to feel what pain actually felt like. And when you do so many abs, it locks in your stomach to where the only way you can defeat it is breathe. It's the only way. And I said, well, what if I stop? And I stopped. And I laid my head down. As soon as I laid down, I heard my mama say, I got back up, bam, 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 going again. Why? Why? Because I became so selfish to want to chase pain. I promised myself that a man would never put his hands on my mom again. That was my promise. But that selfishness, watch what it done to me in my life. It directed me to understand what the book of Proverbs says, a great name is rather chosen than all of the riches of this earth. And if that's true, hard work is a product of faith. Faith without works is absolutely dead. This ain't got nothing to do with religion. This got everything to do with a foundation of who you are, what you want to be, and who you want to bless on your journey. I became selfish. I had homeboys calling me every day. Man, come play the video game. I can't come over your house. What you doing all day? Man, I'm in my garage doing push-ups and sit-ups. Really? What you doing push-ups and sit-ups for? Because one day I'm going to make it to college. My whole family, I'm the first one to go to college. My entire family. My entire city. My entire county. I'm the first person to ever make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't tell me what God won't do, but then you got to do something too. That's why when you become selfish, watch what happens when you become selfish. High school, I became selfish. Coaches, why you always say yes, sir, no, sir? Why you always say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am? Because my mother taught me something. She said, always respect your elders. I was so poor, though. My uncle walked up to me one day and he saw me. I started losing self-confidence. He said, listen to me. I don't care if you have a penny in your pocket. Make sure you look good and you smell good. And somebody gonna notice you. To this day, I live by that motto. Somebody gonna notice me. I ain't got to say it. I don't have to say nothing. And my confidence comes from my selfishness of what greatness really is. You want to know what greatness is? Greatness is lonely. It ain't too many people at the top of greatness because greatness hurts. And it's one of the scariest things you will ever do because everybody around you gonna tell you it's impossible for you to achieve it. But I tell them differently. I beg differ. I tell them anything you want to do in life, go do it. When your footsteps are left, how many people will actually want to follow them? Selfless, selfish. And then selfish took me to a point so much to where I started getting up in the morning like, man, nobody can deal with my energy. I was crazy. Telling y'all the truth. Sometimes when you're great, you got to be a little crazy because people ain't going to believe you can do it. Right? And then I'm in high school. Tell you one of the moments that probably changed my life ever. I'm a little humble, but I like to tell the truth too, you know. So this is me, T, this is me now. I'm like, I know I'm the best athlete in this city. Why these folks treat me like this? He ain't 240. He ain't 6'4". I'm just 6'2". I'm just 189, But ain't nobody gonna outwork me. Last day of high school, I lost my last football game. to Fort Myers. The number one recruit in the nation at the time was Jamie German. The message to this is, you're always being watched. You're always being watched. There are no breaks from being watched. Either it's your kids, it's your family, it's your friends, it's your competitors, and then there's one group of people that you're never gonna get to stop watching you, and that's your haters. I love my haters. Good God Almighty. Boy, my haters motivate me. I get up every day hitting the ground saying, boy, they're gonna be mad when I get done with this. They are not gonna understand what's happening. Every time they hear my name, something else gonna be going on, right? And I get up and I never forget, man, I'll tell you, it's only a few things that almost crushed me, right? In the high school, 12th grade, lose this game. Jamie German, number one player in the nation. Dennis Erickson, head coach, University of Miami. Art Kehoe, the offensive line coach. They come to see Jamie German play. I have this incredible game. 33 tackles, something like that. I maybe made a little bit of that up, but it sounds good. Stay with me, It sounds good. It sounds good. I just made a lot of tackles that day. And I'm running the ball. I'm doing everything, man. And I'll never forget, I fell on my knees at the end of the game, and I was broken because I didn't have a daddy to confirm that I was going to be okay. I didn't have a scholarship to tell me that I had a future to chase. I didn't have anything. My mom, she had gave me away. She had to. My mom ain't a bad person. She just had to give me away. She couldn't afford me. So I moved back. I shuffled around in many houses. My great aunt, my grandmama, my aunts, my two uncles, just shuffled houses. And then the guy asked me one day, he was like, what are you going to do? I said, man, I'm going to try to get into college. He said, well, we got to figure that out. This is my head coach. He said, we got to figure that out because there ain't no offers. I said, Coach, you mean to tell me I ain't got one offer? Not one? Coach, I played every one of these dudes that they talking about. Derek Gibson, Haines City, 6'4", 250. Me and him one-on-one, man, I'm dancing. You know? I'm in the end zone pulling off my helmet, like, what's up? Melvin Pearsall, he ended up going to Florida State. I'm like, man. I walked to the University of Florida State. Chuck Amato was the defensive coordinator at the time. Bobby Bowden was the head coach. They brought me in the office, and they said, we really love you. We want you here. I was like, wow, Florida State wants me. Then they said something that pissed me off still to this day. They say, well, we have a kid here by the name of Derek Brooks. Y'all know who he is. And Chuck Amato said, and he pretty good. I said, shit, me too, but okay. You know, I'm humble, I'm gonna stay humble. And then this man says to me, he said, well, guess what? 2-3 years, we put some size on you, and by your junior year, you'll be better than Derek Brooks right now. Come here for a minute. Come here, stop playing. I shook his hand and told him, thank you, but no thank you. How you know I ain't better than Derek Brooks right now? Now, that was the craziest damn thing I ever did in my life. Because my coach almost passed out. And he's about 6'5", and that's the first time I ever saw a man that big fall to his knees. Right? Because he thought I had made the biggest mistake of my life, which I did. I shouldn't have said that, right? It's a couple things I said I shouldn't have said, but you know me. And it happened, right? So I leave college. I leave Florida State. I get back. My coach is crying in the hallway. And he said, I think you just messed up your college chances of getting to college. And I said, man. I said, Coach, but he told me I wasn't going to start. He told me that I had to sit. He said, everybody's going to tell you that. You got to go earn it. I was like, okay, I get it, but I ain't got no scholarship. 4 days. 4 days. You're always being watched. You're always being watched. You're always being watched. All leaders selling, whatever you're selling, wherever you're going, somebody paying attention. Somebody paying attention. How do you treat them? How do you act around them? Can they trust you? Can they work with you? Can they work against you? Are you going to get all these things? 4 days before signing day, University of Miami called Kathleen High School and said, we want to give Ray Lewis the last scholarship that we have. The kid that had the scholarship blew out his knee riding a four-wheeler. Good thing I was broke. I couldn't afford no four-wheeler back then. So it is what it is. I feel sorry for him. Bless him. Bless his heart. Lord, bless his heart. and I messed around, and I picked up the phone, and Dennis Erickson was like, "You're a hurricane." And I'm like, what? We don't even get hurricane channels in my house. We got 10, 8, and 13. That's it. 45, don't even, you got to put that hanger on the back of your thing and wrap aluminum foil around it. Y'all know, come on, don't act like this. Don't y'all act like this. And I messed around and picked up the phone, and I'm like, Coach, really? He was like, you got one problem. You got to be here in 4 days. I said, be where in 4 days? He said, in Miami. I said, man, I ain't got no money like that now. I can't get no Miami in 4 days. He said, Ray, the reporting day is in 4 days. I said, dang, I went to my grandma. I said, Grandma, I just got a scholarship. She was like, you just got a scholarship? Where? I said, to the University of Miami. My mom was in Tennessee. I was like, Mom, I just got a scholarship. Nobody didn't believe me. I'm like, listen, I'm telling y'all, I just got a full ride scholarship to the University of Miami. I'm out of Lakeland. Boy, leave me alone. I'm saying, man, I can't believe these people don't believe me. Then I called my mama. I said, Mom, this collect now. You know, you call that collect call. It's only 2 places you call a collect from. The other place ain't good. We ain't going there, right? And I'm sitting there. I said, Mom, I got to hurry up. I know this collect call a lot. I said, but I just got a scholarship, University of Miami. She was like, Junior, what's a scholarship? Where you going to school? I said, Mom, University of Miami. Where I said? Mom, I said, Miami. She said, this is my mom's exact words. She said, listen here. I got $20 worth of food stamps. I'm going to mail you in the mail, and that's all I can do for you. I said, wow. I said, okay, Mom. Went to my grandmama, and she finally started realizing that I was dead serious. Selfish, selfless, selfish. I became selfish because nobody could see my vision but me and God. Nobody believed in my vision but me and God. Nobody picked up a Bible every day of my life but me and God. Sunsets, 14 years old, I started reciting our Father's Prayer because I was so hungry, I was so broke, and I had nowhere else to go. And I started reciting our Father's Prayer. At 43, I'm still chasing the same sunsets because I became selfish for greatness. I became selfish to what everybody said couldn't be done. But what everybody said was impossible, God says all things are possible. I got to the University of Miami. Mama, I got to tell you the truth. You know I got to tell you the truth. I got to the University of Miami. I knew I was the best athlete on the field. Well, I thought I was, but I knew I was the best athlete on the field. I just knew nobody was going to give out as much effort as I was going to give. Because when you broke, man, come on. Anybody was raised broke in here, raise your hand. Come on now. I like that. And I ain't going to call too many people. I know y'all ain't want raised broke. I ain't going to call y'all out. But when you're raised that way, it's something that it teaches. It teaches ain't no excuses. Daddy gone. Ain't no excuses. You can't run from this. I started doing the opposite of what majority of everybody else started doing. Got to the University of Miami. I'm playing. Boom, boom. These coaches. Who is this kid? Who is this kid? Who is this kid? Guy gets hurt. Blew out his knee. I don't know what it is about them knees. Blew out his knee. Second game of the year, Virginia Tech, Robert Bass. The coach, I wasn't even the first on the depth chart. You're always being watched, you're always being watched, you're always being watched. The coach screamed, "Give me Ray Lewis." I said, "Coach, I ain't even got my helmet." What you? I didn't know I was going in. Man, give me a helmet. Somebody give me something. I put that helmet on. Man, before that game ended, I'm sitting, second quarter going into the third? I'm ending the game with about 17 tackles. I'm leading the team at 7. Warren Sapp, Hall of Fame. Oh, man, I mean, some rough talent. The Rock, y'all know The Rock. I call him Dewey, but y'all can call him The Rock. I know him by his government name. You know? No, just stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. No, y'all just stay with me, right? And so I get on the field. And man, I'm going crazy on the field. And I'm like, they don't know how selfless I really am. But they really don't know how selfish I am for greatness. They really don't know that I'm really up here to make sure I erase my father's legacy. Whether it was wrong or right. Whether it was wrong or right. I had the greatest motivation ever. Was to erase something that I never had hold me. I just wanted my father to touch me. I just wanted him to grab me and say, "Son, it's okay. You're always being watched. You're always being watched. You're always being watched." Next game, Colorado, Cordell Stewart, Rashawn Salam, rest in peace, Michael Johnson, Charles Westbrook, all of these dudes playing in this game. Keith Jackson, rest in peace. Famous announcer said, "There's a young kid by the name of Ray Lewis. Remember his name." Weeks later, I heard that. But after that game, I had 19 tackles, whatever. Crazy game. Reporter asked me, he said, "Man, how good can you be?" I said, "Honestly, I may be the greatest hurricane ever walk up out of here." They thought I was slap crazy. They said, "This man gonna come all the way up in Miami and just tell us what he said?" Oh, front page of USA Today. Lewis says greatest hurricane ever to play. Okay, y'all put it out there. Now y'all got to watch me. Right? So when it started to happen, selfless, selfish. Dewey, y'all call him The Rock. I'm gonna call him The Rock. The Rock, we started sitting on the corner of Orange Tree and we started mapping out listen to me, Jesus, oh my God. When God shows you something, believe it, no matter what nobody else says. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. He just wants you to believe him. That if you can believe him enough, I don't care about your religion. I don't care about white and black. I'm talking about a foundation of selflessness and selfish for what greatness really is, for what real inspiration really is. You want to be remembered in life? Do something that people dare to do. And say it before you think about doing it. That's the way you change a culture. A lot of people are pathfinders. Ain't too many trailblazers left. Become a trailblazer. Because when you become a trailblazer, man, nothing determines what you're willing to chase. The Rock sat down. I say, "Bro, what's your game plan?" His uncle was Jimmy Superfly Snooker. Y'all know Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy had that long, good hair. If I can have a little bit of his hair, Lord Jesus. Mixed folk always get me. They always get me. Can I have a napkin, please? Please. Thank you, sir. Sure appreciate you. Where it is. I sure appreciate you got a dog color for me. That's good. Jimmy Superfly Snooker. Me and The Rock sit on the corner. I say, "Bro, what's your game plan?" He say, "I'm not as good as you. Not in this football thing." He said, "I got a plan." I'm telling you, this man told me his plan in 1994. We got ready to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the national championship. They was 1, we was 3. He said, "I'm gonna go the wrestling route. And when I go the wrestling route, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna get into this acting world." And I said, "Well, guess what I'm gonna do?" He said, "What's that?" I said, "I'm gonna become the greatest linebacker to ever scrap up a pair of cleats. He said, at UM? I said, in the league. He said, really? I said, absolutely. Watch this, selfish, selfless. I said, bro, work out with me. I started grabbing every one of my dudes. They said, man, why you sprint so much? Why you sprint everything you do? I said, look, we got one rule. Everybody touch the ball, everybody touch the ball, everybody touch the ball. We get in the meeting room. I became so selfless. I started telling the coaches, leave the room. I need my guys to understand me. I need them to sit down with me because we got to be on the same page. Y'all just calling plays. Let us talk. Selfish. I stayed after every day. Coach kept saying, why does this guy just keep staying after practice? Why does he keep running? Ray, you have not ran enough. I said, Coach, I'm going home to nothing. So me staying over here, really all I was staying over there for was we finished practice at 4:30. If I ran another hour, the chow hall opened up at 6. So by 5:30, 5:45, I come off the field and walk straight into the chow hall. All I was looking for was a meal. Nobody knew this. Man, when I tell my children this story, I'm like, boy, if y'all could, the reason why, and this is just the truth, the reason why, and it hurts me because I talk to a lot of kids, but the reason why you see kids can't stay focused now, they ain't hungry enough. They ain't hungry enough. Man, they got so many distractions now. Man, our kids got so much to deal with now. I'm telling you. And it's going to take enough of us to install what tough love feels like. See, I'm an old school parent. See, when my kids walk in my house, I don't care how old you are. If I'm paying your bills, at 9:30 at night, everybody's cell phone got to hit my dresser. I don't give a damn if it's the president calling. Everybody's phone got to hit my dresser. Why? Because I need you to be a kid as long as you can. Because see, when these kids pick up these phones, they're their own adults. And they started entertaining things that, child, we ain't never seen. I couldn't even watch a rated R movie. I didn't know what no rated R movie was. Now these kids picking up the same gadgets that's destroying our subconscious mind. It's killing our kids. They can't remember nothing. How many people in here right now, if I ask you to remember 5 of the most important phone numbers in your life, could you remember them? They're killing us slowly. Because I can still tell you, 410-566-2521, that was my mom's first number. 686-2475-813 was my grandmother's first number. 561-533-2823 was my great-great-grandmama number. Every place I ever lived, when I was starving, I never forget those numbers. Because those numbers was the reason why I became selfish with greatness. Those numbers was the reason why I'm standing here today. Selfless, selfish. The next thing you must have is you must be self-driven. If you're looking, this is the world we're in. If you're getting up every day, I always like to tell you the truth. If you're getting up every day and your value is based on likes and followers, you've already lost. You don't have a chance. If you ain't self-driven to get yourself up every day, when my feet hit the ground, the devil know he got a problem to deal with. See, we missing it. I want somebody when you walk out of here today, I want you to not walk out and worry about followers, but walk out and figure out how many people you're turning into leaders. Because see, that's what real leadership is. The real rules of leadership is when you meet a man, young women, what your mama always told you when you meet a man, the way he treat his mother is the way he gonna treat you. He ain't gonna change. My oldest daughter called me the other day, texted me the other day, Daddy, she at Alabama. I know she gonna get mad at me, but I always tell her story. She called me the other day and said, Daddy, what do you do when you in love with somebody, but somebody don't love you, but child. I say, look, I text her very simple. I say, look, baby, fall in love with God first. And he'll show you exactly who they are And when they show you the first time who they are, you better believe them. Because they're not changing. You don't have the ability to change people. You can change their course, but you can never change people. But when you go all the way back to what self-driven is, see, self-driven is this thing that, I gotta say it. Half of us in this room gonna miss it. That's a fact. Because of detours and distractions. We're gonna miss it. That's why I'm appreciative of everything I've ever done, everything I've never had. If I would have had it, I told my father, thank you for not being in my life. Because the life you was living would have hindered me from chasing what I ultimately ended up accomplishing. Self-driven. I don't think I just truly believe this, right? When I go around and speak, because I need a group of people that I'm telling you, you can reach out to me in many ways, but I need a group of people who understand what my new mission is. My new mission is simple. My new mission is to save 1 billion lives. Can you imagine if we change the direction of 1 billion people's thought process? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if we teach them how you must balance out mind, body, and spirit, and every one of them you cheat yourself? That's why we always entertain the spiritual and the mind. But why do we always leave the body? Because the body hurts. Pain hurts. Pinch me, I say ouch. Kick me, I'm gonna say duck. It ain't gonna end well. It will not end well. But think about the place that we're living in right now. Come on, man, please. Just bear with me. Please. We all feel it. We all feel it. Temperatures are rising. Hate is so crazy right now. We got kids killing kids in schools. We got babies being sex trafficked all over, and really? And we ain't want to come together yet. We ain't thought about coming together yet. Man, when you build legendary Super Bowl teams, when you build teams, you know what you got to do? You got to become very selfless. You got to open up your house and stay up sometimes at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning until they get it. You may see it 1,000 times. You mean to tell me you don't see this play? I don't see it yet, Ray. Well, then let's keep watching it till you get it. My kids, baby, if I'm sending you the Bible, if I'm sending you scriptures, if the good word says meditate on it day and night, watch this. Watch this. I created these camps, right? And my next camps after January 6th. First one started in Toronto. The next one is in London. Next one is in Brazil, Mexico, and then Dubai. My camps are lifestyle boot camps. The title of my camp is No Excuses. That's our new mission. Going forward, ain't no more excuses. You gonna hate me because I'm black? You gonna hate me because of where I come from? You can't put me in that same bucket. Not unless you spent the day with me. You can't judge me unless you know me. And please don't like me. I want to be respected. I don't like to be liked. People who like you turn their back on you too quick. And I darn sure don't want a bunch of followers. My camps is to build leaders. My camps is to build people that's willing to go against the grain. We got everybody going with the grain right now. History always repeats itself. History always repeats itself. And everybody looking for them quiet places. Everybody looking to get away from their phones. How many people in here, the brink of the day comes up, and the first thing, you could be brutally honest, and the first thing you touch is your phone? Raise your hands. First thing you touch, right? Now watch this. Oh man, look. Watch this. If the first thing you touch is your phone, who did you just give power to? You just gave it all away. You just gave it all away. If your mind starts to indulge in everybody else social media and everybody else worlds, you've already given your power away for the day. That's why it's impossible to renew. God says renew your mind and your strength every day. But it's impossible to renew if you never restore. It's humanly impossible to restore if you never rewind. That's why July 2019, my next camp, Camp Rewind, is coming up. The first commitment to sign up for this camp that you have to commit to me is you must turn in your cell phone for 72 hours. Because I don't need everybody else's junk garbage in your world. I need you to focus on you. Every person in here has an individual path. And when you start to cross paths with people, people will feel you. My career taught me one thing in life, taught me many things, but it was one thing it taught me very clearly. When God says, when people see you, that they should see an image of me. Light amongst darkness. And we're entertaining life as this darkness is not knocking on our doggone doors every day. We got kids killing kids, man. I don't know what I'd do if my daughter ever left me. I tell you what, I'd never stop looking. That's what we had. Gang life in Baltimore started 9 years old. I'm begging for leaders. I'm begging for people to really join the movement. Yeah, we can make money. Yeah, we can have great cars, big houses. But what does it mean if we're passing by people that's homeless? If 5% of our population, 5% of the wealthiest people, 5% of the wealthiest people in this world gave 0.5% of their portfolio, we can end homelessness. If another 0.5 gave it, do the math. Don't let me just talk. I love numbers. Because men and women say a lot of things, but numbers say one thing. When you add them up, 1 + 1 is 2. It ain't changing. But that's what I'm screaming. Man, when I got on the plane this morning, and I'm sitting there, and I'm in the airport, and I'm sitting there, and this lady, she walks up. She's from Tennessee, and y'all know they country here, you know. Y'all know y'all country. Y'all know y'all country. Y'all country. Y'all country. Y'all don't know that in 1992, we actually lived in Memphis. That's where my mother actually moved to. She was dating this guy at the time, and he had family here, and he had a burger bar. He built my mom and him a burger bar, and he had a yard service, and all this good stuff. And I just told my mom, I was like, I love you to death, but this ain't for me. Now watch this. And this is where I want you to get, to where you got to have this real question with people that's close in your life, right? My mother had to realize that what you and God talk about is totally different than what me and God talk about. So what you think God got for you, God don't got for me. God got something else for me. And my mother didn't understand that. And so I had to convince my mother, like, Mom, I speak to the same God. So why? I gotta go. I got to go. I don't have no other choice. I done pulled off the mic and everything. Y'all want to recharge me up? Never mind, I got it. I'm in TV. I don't know how to do this. Got it. Got it. But you're always being watched. That's why true leaders, first trait, selfish, selfless, self-driven. Last thing I want to leave you with, before I just open it up for questions, because I love hearing from you guys, but I want you to think about something. I want you to really think about something. This is my Hall of Fame ring, right? And as a child, Stay strong, Ray, stay strong. As a child, I was always looking for an identity. I just wanted to be noticed. And I got to be 11 years old, and I told my mom, I asked my mom one day, I said, Mama, where do my name come from? She said, baby, I'm going to have to talk to you about that another time. I said, no, Mom. Tell me now where my name come from. Everybody else got a name and it's connected to the family. Why my name ain't connected to the family? God had a bigger plan. I didn't know that. But I laid in the incubator as a baby. My mother had me at 15 years old. Laid in the incubator and did not have a name. Did not have a name. And my mother called my father. And she said, you got a baby boy. And he hung up the phone on her to never return. My mother picked up a phone and called a guy in the military and asked that guy, would you come do me a favor for my child? That guy's name is Ray Lewis. That's why my name Ray Lewis. There's no bloodline that's connected to my name but me and my 6 kids. So when God changed Abram to Abraham, he said, I'll make you ruler of many nations. And what I'm telling you is, this race ain't about how you start. This race is about how you finish. There's something on every gravestone. There's a beginning date and there's an end date. But in the middle of that, there's a dash. And that dash is your legacy. On whatever you're going to do, leave the legacy that you want to leave. I cry to hear one favorite thing. When I finally go, I tell people all the time, people always say when they love me, don't think about that, don't think about that. I say, you trying to tell me not to think about heaven with all the hell we got going on down here? I got to think about something greater than here. And to hear the man say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Man, I've walked many paths. I've danced with some of the best of them. I have. But my new mission is to tell us, if we don't do this together, we don't have a chance. Man, this is facts. I don't go speak for no other reason but to challenge people to come out your comfort zone. And until you come out your comfort zone, you will never touch a certain level of greatness. If you stay stuck in your comfort zone will keep you living a mediocre life. You want to touch fine things in life? Leave your comfort zone. You want to be hired at different positions? Change your crowd. You want to change your language? Start reading everybody else's post. Start writing your own. My last game, me and my daughter, boy, I tell you, when I got a queen, Diamond Desiree Lewis, I popped my tricep from the bone. And when I hit it, I knew it had went. And I came to the sideline, and the doctor grabbed my arm from the back, and she took her 2 fingers, and she pushed through the back of my arm. And my entire tricep was gone, so I saw her fingers come through my bicep. On the sideline. When she pushed through it, I smiled. She said, what you smiling for? She said, nobody has never come back from an injury like this, ever. She said, Ray, she started crying, Dr. Curl. She said, I never want to see your career end like this. She said, why are you smiling? I said, Doc, Because you believe in the possible. God believes in the impossible. Give me my x-ray and let me get up out of here. She said, what do you mean? I said, meet me in the office tomorrow morning. She said, the office? I said, yes. I said, I want to get an MRI on it. I want to know how much damage I've done to it. She was like, for what, Ray? We got to really take our time. This is at least 6 to 7 month injury. I said, no, doc. I said, this is my last game. This is my last time anyway. She was like, so what are you willing to do? I said, doc, just meet me in the office. She met me in the office. She gave my MRI papers. I called Ozzie Newsome, general manager of the Baltimore Ravens. I said, Ozzie, don't put me on IR. Not this time. He said, Ray, doc just got off the phone with me and told me that your tricep is torn completely from the bone. I said, yeah. And he says, nobody ever came back from that. I said, yeah, I get that. Don't put me on IR. He said, all right, I'm going to trust you. Me wanting to be a father because of what I didn't have as a father, the reasons for me telling you guys my story about my name, my oldest son, Ray Lewis III, has my name. And I've always been there for my kids, but it was his last year. And I was fighting this battle that I no longer wanted to fight. I had won every game I was going to win. I had won Super Bowls, MVP. I had all the money. I did it all. And there was one part of me I was missing, which was every time my son called me, he said, Dad, you should have saw the game I had last night. And I'm sitting in the meetings like, damn, I'm still sitting in the meetings 17 years later, and my oldest son is out there coming up through the same way I went up with. Just so happened my tricep being torn, I went to Arizona and did all my training. I saw about 9 specialists a day for almost 16, 17 hours a day. And every Friday, I would take a jet, and I would fly home to see my son play. Every Friday night, play. And I came home the last time, and he walked off the field. He had threw up on the field, and I just told him to get up. And he walked to me on the field, and he said, Dad, what are you about to do? I said, Junior, I'm about to do something that is probably the craziest thing you can ever ask a man to do that's in sports. He said, what's that? I said, I'm going to come back. He said, Dad, you cannot come back. I said, Junior, this is to everybody in here. When you start something, finish it. When you it ain't the fastest person to finish the races. And I looked at my son and I grabbed him. And we both cried, and I got back on that plane. I spent 10 weeks in Arizona. And I came back, and John Harbaugh was standing on the corner. I said, John, I need to speak to the team. And I told the team, I said, this is my last ride. Now watch this. I shared with the team that it was my last ride. I had just came from re-imaging my elbow, and she had just showed me where all of the white that I had retore my tricep again, practicing with it. But I was so crazy. I was crazy. I wanted to see how trustworthy God really was. I wanted to really see if it was way more than just the physical. I wanted to see if what I envisioned, if I would let pain stop me from achieving this. I wanted to see that. Told my team, I spoke for 45 minutes. At the last 30 seconds, I said, and this is my last ride. Man, I saw grown men break down. Coaches that had raised me from a baby. I saw a city going upward. You can't retire. I gotta go. I came back. I'm in my bed the night before we played the Colts. And I pushed my arm down. I pushed my arm down and couldn't pull it back up. This the night before the game. This the night before the first round of the playoffs. And I couldn't pull my arm back up. I asked the Lord last night when I was praying, I said, Lord, don't let me exaggerate nothing, just let me give them brutal truth on why selfless, selfish, and self-driven is the keys to real leadership. I couldn't pick it up. I laid on the bed. My mama used to always give me these cloths. She got a bunch of cloths from Africa and different places and holy oils and everything. I bathed myself in holy oil and I wrapped myself up in this cloth. And I'll never forget, I laid there and laid there and laid there. And I got up the next morning and I said, Lord, what must I do? You know I can't fight this battle. Man, listen to me. The deepest thing he ever told me throughout my career. He said, this time I don't need your body. I need your mind. And I said, you need my mind? And the greatest thing that happened was my leadership skills went to a totally different level. Because physically, even though I was there, I couldn't do what I once done. I couldn't punch people off me that I wanted to get up off me. But I can be there to speak into another man's life. Come all the way back to selfless. I can be there. I can be there to make sure they're coming over my house. Let me show you what Andrew Luck can't do. Let me show you how we going to beat him. Sizzle, let me put you in position. Ellaby, you young. You got good legs. I need you to do all the running. I'm the buck now. I'm that tree stump. Somebody touch me, trust me, I ain't going too further than that. But I need y'all to use y'all legs. And then I'm sitting out there in the field, and I fell one time, man. I'm telling you, the whole right side of my body went numb. And if I ever showed you the picture, you'll see me walking off like this. Nobody don't know it. Whole body numb. And I'm smiling. And I'm saying, Lord, I got to trust you. I'm in battle now. Ain't nowhere else to go. I came back out of the next play. Interception came, I dropped it, whatever. I get enough grief from my kids. Child, please. And when I got done with that, I sat there. And Sizzle came to me and he said, General, you heard me. I said, boy, you have no understanding. I'm in the greatest battle of my life. And God showed me something. The next week we was playing Peyton Manning. The next week after that we was playing Tom Brady. And then the next week after that we had to go see San Francisco 49ers. And I said, Lord, I said, if I complete this, I'm going to crown myself as being the greatest of all time. Ain't nobody got to tell me I'm the greatest of all time. I mean, I'm going to crown myself, right? And me and Peyton, I love that dude so much. I'm telling you, man, me and Peyton, we're way close. We didn't hate each other the way y'all think we did. Yes, we did. On the field, we did. But we were so close. When I walked into that game, I looked at him, and he looked at me. And I said, nah, not this time. Brady, New England, not this time. I get it. Y'all gonna have a time, but not this time. We got into the Super Bowl 47. Ironically, for me to end my career with my back against the wall, 3 yards from a touchdown, my defensive tackle Lodinata is out of the game. I'm 50%, 7% at best. And San Fran don't know. They think that I'm screaming for them to run the play. I'm screaming for God not to let them run a play. I'm asking the Lord, please let them throw this ball. Lord, please let them. Y'all think I'm not making this up. I'm telling y'all a real story. I'm sitting on the goal line like this here. I say, man, look at here. Please throw this ball. Lord Jesus, please throw this ball. Because if they run this ball, I can't hit nobody no more. They threw the ball 4 straight times. They threw the ball 4 straight times with Frank Gore in the backfield. If they run that ball, I don't know if we win that. That's just me. That's just me. But throughout my career, I'll leave you guys with this. I learned something. I learned something about leadership. I learned something about pushing through some of the greatest pain in your life so that God can get where he wants to get with you. So maybe religion ain't a big thing. So let me tell you what is. Every person that you come in contact with in your life, every child, every brother, every uncle, they want to be somebody. My question is, why not let it be you? Our country needs real leaders now. And we need bold leaders. We need people who ain't afraid of not being liked. Thank you guys so much.
Great, thank you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Thank you for
Appreciate
opening
it.
your heart, man. Thank you for opening your heart.
Thank you guys so much.
Ray Lewis!
Thank you so much.
Ray Lewis!
Thank you.